What's up? What's good? What's popping? What's cracking? What's percolating? What's really good in the hood? It is your man Theo Butler, and welcome to y'all might get mad at me episode of I Ain't Saying, I'm Just Saying with the Rock with Me Nation. Y'all go ahead and before we begin, like, share, subscribe. If you like, leave a comment. If you don't like, leave a constructive comment. Why? Because if you know me, grow me. Sharing is caring. And constructive comments really do help a brother grow. They do. That's what the Rock with Me Nation is all about. So yeah, before we do all that, yeah, make sure y'all hit that like, share, subscribe button. I'm gonna hope that y'all hear me out on this because the title probably threw y'all off. Why I don't care for no gender bending, swapping, nothing. No, that's the title. That's why I went with it. Y'all know me. We keep it real over here. This is how I talk. I can be professional if I want to, but I don't want to do that on this video. I want to be real. So I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I never have been. And I get it. It's the new wave. People talk inclusivity and everything like that. Inclusion, using all these words and everything. Representation. I get it. Listen, good God Almighty Jesus, I get it. Those of us that's got this in our face, that was born in the 60s, we've been clamoring for our own heroes. My pigmentation as well. We've been clamoring for our own heroes for a long, long time now. We have. We got some of them in comics. We did. Some of them were, a darker skinned representation of the other dude, but the personality was different. Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan. Some of them, just recently what we've gotten, they not really fleshed out. Fan like them because they got a nice little costume and everything, but they not really fleshed out. Don't even really have a rogues gallery of villains. Really don't know their backstory when it comes to their parents. Please see Miles Morales. So, I've never been a fan of race swapping, gender bending, because it's empty. Very seldom does it translate over to the comics. And that is where you get the true representation. Or at least you should. But Theo, what do you mean? So after Crisis on Infinite Earth, was that? No, that wasn't it. New 52. Yeah. My flash was, watch this. I got caught up in the crosshairs because I actually liked Barry Allen, had got used to Barry Allen, and then they gave me Wally West, Kid Flash. Now I like Kid Flash because I like the Titans, the Teen Titans. I remember buying those issues from back in the day. When my mother used to take me to the comic book store, I was able to go get those first issues of the Teen, not the new Teen Titans with Marv Wolfman. No. I'm talking about the original 4. Wonder Girl, Robin, Kid Flash, and Speedy. That's why Aqualad came along later. But that I like that. The whole premise, they had to take on the Justice League because the Justice League was brainwashed by villains. I grew up with that Wally West. New 52, they gave me a brother, young brother, Wallace West. What are we doing? And he took it over there to the CW. Comic book fans never really got behind Wallace West. Had the part in his head that had to look like a lightning bolt. Damn, wasn't nobody gonna know who that was in or out of costume. He walking around with a half mask on that shows his hair with a lightning bolt part in his head. He doing the same thing in high school in plain clothes. Nobody knew. Anyway. The writers gave a half-ass effort in developing the character, setting him apart from everybody else. Because one, you got to explain, why is he now black? What they do? They brought back Wally West. So now we got 2 Kid Flash. We got a Flash, Wally West, and we got a Kid Flash, Wallace West. There's a whole uncle backstory going on with that is just confusing as hell. When really what they could have did was just introduce a new speedster that happened to be black. And while Candace Patton, I think that's her name, is a tremendous actress and everything like that. She plays Iris West Allen on the CW. Still white in the comics. Hell, if you look in the on the cartoons, she white. So what was that what was that whole thing? Well, really, we could have introduced a kid speedster, a young black speedster, brand new. His mother could have been black, brought his father in and everything like that, because I'm so sick of kids, brand new superheroes showing up, black superheroes showing up, and dad ain't never around. Good God Almighty, Jesus. Do I need to be reminded of my life? And I can't even say that because my grandfather was in my life. While my father wasn't there, Anderson Butler did fill that role 13 going forward, and bits and pieces before 13, because I was spending time with my grandparents in Camilla, Georgia. So I had my father figure. We don't talk about that enough in comics, but that ain't what this story is about. This is about why I am not a fan of gender swapping, race bending. Let's keep going with the New 52. Green Lantern from Earth 2. Gay. New 52. Beautiful story, by the way. Actually, I like the way the story was written. I do. We know his fiance was, well, he was gay, so his fiance was a guy. He and his fiance was on a train crashes and everything like that. It is the love that he has for his fiance that actually allows him to stay alive. It is. And that love is in the background of the story. We know he's there. We're rooting for him to be reunited with his fiance, even though we know they're both gay characters. We are. Comic book fans were rooting for that. Listen, Earth 2 was a great story. It was. It was empty representation though. Why? Because after that storyline was over, that character reverted back to being heterosexual. So where did the LGBTQ community get their true representation? They got it for a limited amount of time. Fake representation, 12 issues, revert the character back to being heterosexual. Michael Clark Duncan, who I think did a great job playing the Kingpin. No disrespect to, he's a great actor as well, Vincent D'Onofrio. But Michael Clark Duncan did give a pretty good portrayal of the Kingpin. And I mean comic book accurate portrayal of the Kingpin. He did. And I think we know Michael Clark Duncan to be a large black man, right? Kingpin was never black in comics. So while I liked him playing it on screen, it didn't give me another black character. It didn't. That character's white. That character's gonna stay white. But here's the other problem that I have with it. What happens when they take a character that you like, that's black, and they make that character something else? Quite a few people I know, because we review Black Panther and everything like that. I'm gonna start reviewing on further issues of Black Panther. Shout out to Marcus and everything like that. I know my dog feeling some type of way. I feel right there with him. But I want to keep y'all in the loop as to what's going on with the comic book, so nobody pulls a fast one on you. That said, quite a few of us were upset that John Ridley toyed around with T'Challa's sexuality. See how that go? Now see, Phastos the Eternal doesn't have that many fans, enough to be in an outrage that they flipped him from being a heterosexual male married to a white woman to a gay man. He didn't have people upset. T'Challa has fans, and while we keep talking about Black Panther, T'Challa don't have that many fans and everything like that. Yes, I'm talking to certain YouTubers. Fans got upset about that one. John really backed away from the table. He left it right there. Ambiguous. Right. It ain't no fun till the rabbit got the gun. Pun intended. See, you don't want anything. If you like Black Panther and you like T'Challa, you don't want T'Challa's ethnicity switched. You don't want T'Challa's gender bent. But when you say you're okay with it happening to another character, you saying you okay with it happening to your character as well. And I'm not going to be cool with that. I don't want to see Aurora Monroe as a man. I don't want to see Aurora Monroe as a Latino. I don't want to see Aurora Monroe as Asian. I don't want to see Aurora Monroe as a Caucasian. I don't want to see Aurora Monroe as Samoan. I don't want to see Aurora Monroe from the Cherokee Nation, from the Navajo Nation. I don't want to see that. I need her to be Kenyan, right there where she from. But see, if I'm going to sign off on everybody else's character, for some of it is for, I'm going to go ahead and say it. When you want a character to be gender bent, race swap, sexuality changed, and you want that character to be that, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Regardless of who you are, you pushing an agenda. You don't want your own. You want somebody else's. That's the problem with the world today. We don't want our own. We want somebody else's. What makes it worse is when we have a billion-dollar company that admits to pandering to such nonsense. It gets message boards blowing up because we're having discussions that amount to nothing. Because when it's all said and done, the only reason why they're going to swap the character is to do exactly what Miss Alonzo said. I want to make sure, y'all make sure I got her name right. But it's to pander to a demographic. And once that demographic spends their money, they're going to change that character right back. That's not true representation. That's not true inclusion. Nate Moore can tell you everything he wants to tell you about the Eternals on the red carpet. In the comics, they never changed. Phastos is still heterosexual. Kingo is an Asian samurai. True representation, inclusivity, it sticks. It matters. It's poignant. When we talk about Miles Morales, as long as Miles Morales has been in Marvel Comics, he should have had a roster of his own villains. Not Peter's villains, but his own villains. We should know more about his mother, just like we know about Aunt May. We should know more about his father, just like we do about Ben, Aunt May's husband, Uncle Ben. Remember him? No different than we know about J. Jonah Jameson. Oh, Chillmonger. Robbie is the guy that worked for J. Jonah Jameson. He was the assistant editor-in-chief. Yeah, that's the Prowler's father. See, we don't know any of that, which is crazy because the way they got it set up in the comics is that Miles's father is the Prowler's brother. And Joe Robbie is the Prowler's dad. Empty representation means you know none of that. Empty representation means none of that is taking place, and which it hasn't. We know that. Miles Morales is cool. He stepped on TV wearing some Jordans, black kid, Spider-Man costume, and as Chadwick Boseman alluded to, we rooted for those superheroes back in the day. Some of us have actually wanted to be Spider-Man. I wear glasses. But I know what it's like to have my own. Right? I know what it's like to create my own. Right? That last action figure's Shuri, her current form, her griot form. I don't know if it gets any realer than that. An action figure? Yeah. As Chillmonger alluded to, true representation matters. I'm a fan of true representation. I'm a fan of true inclusion. But what's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what we're seeing in too many superhero-driven TV shows and movies, nah, I'm not a fan of that at all. And I don't care if they do gender bend the character to a male. I'm not going to be a fan. I don't care if they gender bend, if they bend the character, sexual orientation. make him a heterosexual male. I don't care if they make the character a black heterosexual male. If that character started off as something else, I'm not gonna want it. I'm not gonna like it. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. Peace. Before y'all go, like, share, subscribe. I gotta come back to y'all with this episode 2 late video review of She-Hulk. I am bringing that to y'all. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. Peace.